Hey, what's going on, everyone? In this video, we are looking at the Masters for this week. It is the best week of golf. Have a Millie Maker on Draftkings, a lot to touch on, a lot of really good players on the slate, a lot of potential fades that we have tonight for this week. So let's get started. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button on the video, subscribe if you have not already. You can follow me on Twitter at the DFS Process, and let's get started. So I will be formatting this like I do my football videos, just kind of going through each salary, looking at the players that stick out to me, the guys that have been playing well the past couple months, and I think are on top of their game for Augusta this week. So it starts at the top here with Bryson DeChambeau at 11-2. He is the most expensive player on the slate. He hasn't played golf in 4 weeks. He has taken the last 4 weeks off to get ready for the Masters. He is going to try something at the Masters that no other golfer does, and that is just hit bomb after bomb and try to get as close to the hole as possible on his tee shots and his irons. Could get him into some trouble with just how we know how uncomfortable and how difficult this course is if he gets into some of these tough lies. And he's probably going to be really popular today. He's an odds-on betting favorite, and I just don't know if I feel comfortable about it. So right now, he's not in my core plays. I think if you play a bunch of lineups, you're definitely going to want to have him in there. But if you just play one lineup or just making a couple, he could be a strong fade, as he will get a lot of love. My favorite golfer of the week to pay up for is Justin Thomas. He has been, in my opinion, the best golfer since the restart. I know Dustin Johnson is in that category, but he's also missed quite a bit with COVID. But Thomas, his irons are really on point. His strokes gain approach is really strong as well. He is one of the leaders in the field in that department. His putter has been really hot lately. He is just a birdie maker, and he definitely could have won 2 weeks ago at the Zozo Championship. He had a couple of bad par fives in his back nine, which really just kind of prevented him from. He just didn't have that many birdies in his back nine and prevented him from taking first, but still had a really good finish, 65, 65, 67, and 69. Before that, finished T12 at the CJ Cup, had a top 10 at the US Open, and a second at the Tour Championship, top 25 at the BMW. Just been on top of his game, and I think, so all things considered, I think Justin Thomas is definitely going to be in my core plays. Then you have Jon Rahm, who also has looked really good. He also finished tied for second at the Zozo. He's been top 20 machine recently, top 25 machine. I think him and Justin Thomas are two guys that I really like above 10K. Rory, I'm not that interested in. I just think that other guys around him have been playing much better. He's been fine too, but I got off to a really bad start each of the last two tournaments, 73 and 73. Survived Zozo by scoring really low and making a bunch of birdies at the end of the rounds, but I just feel a little bit more comfortable going up to Justin Thomas or going down to Dustin Johnson, who has been playing the best golf of anybody since, for a amount of tournaments and stuff that he's played, second, sixth, first, second, first, second. This is just unheard of how hot he's been. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, had a little bit of rust after not playing for almost 2 months, but shook that off really, really quickly and ended up finishing T2 last week in Houston. So had that week to get back on track, and probably seems to be ready to go for Augusta this week. He seems like another strong play. Going into the 9K range, Schauffele is my favorite player in this range. He is probably going to make my core plays again. Just him and Justin Thomas have been two of the highest players since the restart. Schauffele is 17th last week. Had 2 triple bogeys in round 2 and I think round 3. That really slowed him down, but he still was a birdie maker in that tournament at 25 birdies. The 2 others really kind of 2 triple bogeys really ruined a chance for him to make his way inside the top 10 or top 5. But before that, 2nd, 5th, 2nd, 25th, 25th, 10th, 6th. He's been really good. I'm expecting another strong finish from Schauffele this week, because that's all he does is make cuts and finish in the top 25. So I feel really good about Schauffele this week. Pairing him with Justin Thomas gives you 2 really high upside plays, and then you still got some value plays I will get to, but I feel really good about building around them. Other guys in the 9K range, Koepka is just a fade for me. Just I can easily get up to more guys that I feel comfortable with. I know Koepka shows up at these majors, but just always a little bit risky with him. Cantlay, I think he's the second favorite guy that I like in the 9K range besides Schauffele. Morikawa, I'm just not that interested in, just because he's been struggling a bit. I need my guys to be on top of their game heading into Augusta, and he's been 50th, tied 12th, and then missed a cut at Shriners and missed a cut at the U.S. Open. Doesn't seem like he's like in the best. He's not in the best playing shape, or not in the best playing shape, but his game is just not in the best shape right now. So I'll be fading Morikawa. Same thing with like Webb Simpson. I think he looks fine, but it's just going to be tough. It's pretty hard to pay up for everybody that you want to. So seems like it will be a little bit tough for me to get to a guy like Webb or Hatton. Patrick Reed coming off of a win here in 2017. He looks fine, like another guy just like Peppa that shows up at these like majors. But all right, besides Patrick Reed, you got Tiger Woods, everybody's favorite, but it's gonna be impossible for me to recommend him, let alone play him, let alone recommend him this week. He's just not been on top of his game since the restart. Just hasn't been able to compete, and definitely not going to be paying 91 for him. If he happens to win, I will be happy, but I will not be playing him on my lineups just because, I don't know how you can justify paying 91 for Tiger Woods given his form and given all the other guys that look really good this week. Moving on, we got Bubba Watson, who's another strong play in the 9K range. For me, it's Schauffele, Bubba Watson, and Cantlay as the three guys that I'm interested in this range. He has been playing really well. Recently, 4th at the Zozo, made a bunch of birdies, had 2 eagles there, made 2 eagles at the CJ Cup, finished strong in the US Open, BMW. He has some strong course history here, pretty much a veteran at this course, played pretty well in Augusta the last few years. So it seems like another strong guy to potentially build your lineups around. And then moving on to the 8K range, we have some guys that I'm not that interested in are Adam Scott, just 89 for him is just don't see that much upside with Scott at 8,900. I will not be playing Matsuyama or Fleetwood. Both guys are kind of just struggling. Well, Matsuyama finished strong last week, but his putters always just gives you a heart attack if you play him. Missing easy putts is not very fun. Watching our guys miss easy putts, like 5 to 10 foot putts routinely, and that's something that he's really known for. So I will not be playing Matsuyama. I will not be playing Fleetwood either. He has just been really kind of in bad form recently, 57 and 59th, and then finished fine in the Euro Tours, but obviously they're not as strong of a competition. Missed the cut at the US Open. The last few starts at the PGA Tour has been kind of rough for him, so he's another guy that I will not be interested in this week. Matthew Wolff has been getting talked up a little bit. I'm just not really buying it. I think he's fine for tournaments, but cash, or if you want a safe player, he's just not that. He's going to finish really strong or really badly in a tough course. Probably more likely than not that he has a rough start this week. Jason Day, strong performance last week, but I just never get excited about playing him. Some guys you just can't play are Jordan Spieth, given his form. I know he's been very good, but that was back in 2017. But last few years just hasn't been able to really get anything going. So he's a fade. Paul Casey's definitely a fade. I think Fowler's okay, and like guys like Scheffler and Justin Rose are okay. I think Rose would be my favorite out of that group just because he is really cheap. He's cheaper than the other guys. He has been playing fine. Like last 2 weeks ago, Zozo was really good. Had a chance to win except for that 3rd round where he shot at 72. But besides that, he looked really good in all the other 3 days. And I think another guy that has some decent history here at Augusta. You want to get you want to get guys that are in top of their form playing wise, and then I guess course history kind of can play a factor as well. So besides Justin Rose, I'm not really interested in Fitzpatrick or Mickelson or Sungjae Im. Always a Abraham ANCER guy. He always just does his thing. He makes cuts. He competes in the top 20s, potentially to push into the top 10 in a lot of these tournaments. I think he looks like a really good play if you need a cheap play at under like 7,500. Gary Woodland withdrew a few weeks ago. I don't know if he is 100% with his back injury, so that could be a fade. I like Cameron Smith. Him and ANCER are 2 guys that I like below 7,500. He's just been really good recently. Makes a ton of birdies. His putter has been fine recently, and he has pretty good course history, even though he's kind of a younger player. But in a few years that he's played at Augusta, he's been fine. I'm not interested in Lowry or Kuchar or Westwood or Billy Horschel or Cam Champ. I think Kisner is fine just because as a veteran, You think he can at least be a safe play this week. Same thing with like Ian Poulter is a guy that I like a lot on DraftKings based on that salary at 7,000. He has missed a few weeks because of I think he tested positive for Corona, but before that he was in fine playing form with 12th at the CJ Cup. A couple of Euro starts finished high there. Before that, finished fine at the PGA Championship, Northern Trust, Workday, and he's a guy that really has really good course history here. He's made the cut in 13 of 14 starts at the Masters. Just like a safe play that has some upside because his putter has been one of the better putters. He's one of the better putters in this field. His tee game is okay, but his approach is pretty fine. He can make you some birdies and eagles, which you always like to see. So I definitely like Poulter as a guy in the $7,000 range that will give you some upside. A guy that can definitely finish in the top 20, top 15 this week. Below 7K, there's only a handful of guys that I think are worth considering. Definitely not going to be playing Mark Leishman or Danny Willett or Snedeker. Just the guys that look okay to me are like Siwoo Kim, just because he can get hot and finish strong, although it's going to be tough for me to play him. Zach Johnson is okay at 68. He also has some decent history here, but a guy that never gets ownership that I always play, that is always good to me, is Sebastian Munoz. Just never has disappointed me in all the times that I played him this year, and that's been a lot recently since the restart. He's been one of the better golfers and never gets talked about, never gets really any love or ownership. So just looking at his recent starts, very few golfers can say that they finished in like the top 30 in almost all their recent starts. T14th, 9th, T27th, T23rd, 59th. The U.S. Open is not great, but 8th, 18th, and 74th. And since the restart, he has finished in the top 20 in all but two, or in the top 30 in all but two starts, and that was at the U.S. Open and the Wyndham. But besides that, he's been like a top 20 machine in like finishing in the top 10 in like 3 starts. Had a chance to do some damage at the Zozo, but has shot at 72 in the 4th round. Got off to a rough start at the CJ Cup, but finished strong the last 2 rounds. He is just playing really well, and I think at 6,700 if you need a cheap play. So definitely I think Sebastian Munoz is one of my favorite golfers below 7,000, a guy that I will be kind of rooting for and considering heavily this week. I guess other guys you could look at are Kevin Na, just some veterans that are safe with some upside, like Kevin Na, maybe Lanto Griffin, like Adam Hadwin for Telly, and then it kind of dies off. I don't want to really go with anybody cheaper than like Adam Hadwin, I guess, at 65. So that's kind of it for me on the DraftKings side. I think these 4 are guys that I will probably build my lineup around for this week. Let's go over on FanDuel. It's pretty similar, but I'll just touch on the pricing. All right, over on FanDuel, I think pretty similar with the core plays. I think Bubba Watson is a guy that I will probably get to just because I can't afford him on FanDuel with the pricings. But Bryson at 12-1 is still kind of same thing I mentioned on DraftKings. Like, he's going to get a lot of ownership. I'd rather go to Schauffele and Dustin Thomas as guys I think will finish strong this week. I like Don Rahm quite a bit at 10 or 11-7. And then I guess Cantlay I like at 10-7. Same kind of fades for me are Fleetwood, Adam Scott, Matthew Wolff, Matsuyama. I think Finau is okay, although he's kind of expensive. So I don't know if I'll get thrilled about him. Justin Rose is really nicely priced at 97 on FanDuel. I like him. Then we get into some fades. I'll fade all these guys right here that you see on the screen. ANCER I like as a kind of a cheaper play that has quite a bit of upside. And I guess you could look at Kisner, maybe at 89. Poulter I still like at 88. Cam Smith. Got quite a bit of guys in the 8K range on FanDuel that look strong. And then below, at the low 8K range, it's Zach Johnson. It's Kevin Na, and then it's Sebastian Munoz as the guy below 8,000, which I will get excited about. And that's pretty much it. So kind of similar to the DraftKings plays. Obviously, I like to play the same golfer, so I can root for the same guys this week. And that's it for me. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and best of luck this week.